Good morning and good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Before Coffee. It's Wacky and Weird Wednesday, so we're going to cover some news stories that happened during the week or maybe even the last week that were just odd. Today on Before Coffee, eponyms banned. Dozens of American birds are being given new names.
And last night was election night in the USA, and the Democrats won all over the place. So we're going to look at the results.
4 men prosecuted after stealing a golden toilet in England in 2019.
And more weird and wacky news, we have poison mushrooms and a giant fire destroying a blimp hangar.
European Film Awards 2023. And the nominees are...
Stories and more on today, which is Cappuccino Day, which is coffee, which is very fitting because it is November 4th, or November 8th, 2023 edition of Before Coffee.
Okay, our first news story. American birds are being renamed after they've been named after not so nice people. American bird watchers have looked for 80 new bird names. The American Ornithological Society, or AOS, believes it is outdated to name animals after people. It is therefore taking action. Oh, that's a terrible sentence. Believes there are names that are outdated and is taking action to rename those birds. The decision was prompted by complaints about bird names after racist colonial people. For example, the famous nature lover John James Audubon lent his name to the shearwater, but his family also kept slaves. The McCown's ice bunting was previously renamed the thick-billed ice bunting because, in addition to being a bird watcher, John McCown is also general of the racist southern states in the American Civil War. There can be so much power in a name, and such bird names in English evoke associations with the past that still excludes and hurts people today. The reasons the AOS chairman Colleen Handel gave: while anyone who loves birds should be able to enjoy them without any worries. The AOS said it is not feasible to weigh the reputation of all namesakes one by one. It was therefore decided to delete all of them. Any of the birds that were named during the Civil War, I guess, are just delete them. Anytime after that, delete them. Also, it also does the animals more justice, according to the AOS. It is more objective and therefore more scientific to choose names based on the appearance of or habitat, instead of who found it and who it refers to. For example, happens to be known, or who's discovered it. Next, not to mention the fact that these often involve white men who saw their names immortalized. These types of exclusionary names, invented in the 19th century and full of racism and misogyny, are no longer acceptable today, they always believes. It is time to reform this process and put focus back on the birds, where it belongs. The AOS plans to set up a pilot next year, for which the public's help is also being sought. The AOS then also plans to look at these names that occur in Latin America. So they're also going to rename some Latin Americans. Franco Finch or whatever. I guess that's Spanish, but whatever. The Franco Finch. There's our short oddity news story about renaming all the American birds that are no longer going to be racist colonial Southern war generals. Your story.
You're going to rename the common American peckerwood?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm sure there's more racial names there, but we probably shouldn't say slurs on this show. So
that's a slur against white people, but it's also the name it's kind of the backward name that the South gave woodpeckers, peckerwoods. But anyway, it's a slur against me, so I guess I can use it. I don't know. I just think it's funny. Anyway, in the U.S. election news, it's Democrats won everywhere. Democrats won in Ohio. Ohio voters approved the constitutional amendment of Garrett. This is partially from AP. Sorry, Nicholas Riccardi. Ohio voters approved the constitutional amendment that guarantees the right to abortion and other forms of reproductive health care. Ohio also approved medical marijuana. Democratic governor in beet red Kentucky Andy Beshear was reelected in a red state. A Democrat won. A Democrat won an open seat at Pennsylvania Supreme Court after campaigning on his pledge to uphold abortion rights. Democrats took full control of the Virginia State House, both the House of Delegates and the Senate, blocking Republicans from being able to pass abortion restrictions and delivering a defeat to Governor Glenn Youngkin, who thought, I'm going to win both houses of this Virginia and then run for president. Well, he's not going to do that anymore. Good news for Donald Trump. Glenn Youngkin's like, I can't even win any shit in my own state. The victories won't be enough to make Democrats feel secure, blah, blah, blah. Also, in other news, Mississippi will hold on to the governorship. The Republicans will hold on the governorship there, where their guy barely won with 51%. But in the story I'm going to cover, in New York City, exonerated Central Park 5 member Yusuf Salam wins New York City Council seat. That's right. This is from AP also, Anthony Izaguirre. Exonerated Central Park 5 member Yusuf Salam won a seat Tuesday in the New York City Council, completing a stunning reversal of fortune decades after he was wrongly imprisoned in an infamous rape case. Salam, a Democrat, will represent the Central Harlem District in City Council, having run unopposed for the seat in one of many local elections held across New York State Tuesday. He won his primary election in a landslide. The victory comes more than two decades after DNA evidence was used to overturn the conviction of Salam, a further black and Latino man, in the 1989 rape and beating of a white jogger in Central Park. Salam was arrested at age 15 in a prison for almost 7 years. 15. For me, this means that we can really become our ancestors' wildest dreams, said in an interview before the election. Elsewhere in New York City, voters were deciding whether to re-elect the Queens District Attorney and cast ballots in other city council races. The council, which passes legislation, has some oversight over city agencies, have long been nominated by Democrats, and the party was certain to retain firm control after the election. Local elections on Long Island could offer clues about how the city's suburbs could vote in next year's congressional elections, though the low turnout was expected because there weren't federal or statewide candidates in the ballot this year. So it's going to go into all the local races and the crime, but the main thing is, I want to get to this guy in the story, and it's talking about a bunch of other stories and people and doing other things. I thought I was going to get into this one gentleman getting elected, but that's kind of stopped there. So AP just cuts off their own good feel-good story with a bunch of controversial he said, she said nonsense about the races. But there's your good story in the news. At least if you favor democracy and you hate fascism, it looks like the Democrats won another special election and an off year, which usually is a harbinger for the times when people really get out to vote. So, back to you. Harbinger
of times to come.
Yep.
Let's go into more wacky news about a golden toilet. That's right. This happened yesterday, by the way. These people were finally persecuted from 2019. 4 men are being prosecuted for the theft of an 18-karat gold toilet bowl at Britain's Blenheim Palace. The toilet bowl was made by the renowned Italian artist Maurizio Cattelan. The artwork was on loan from the New York's Guggenheim Museum to the Blenheim Palace when it was stolen overnight in 2019. The suspects are all between 35 and 39 years old. 7 people were previously arrested, but yesterday it was announced that 4 of them will be prosecuted for the theft and receiving of stolen goods. They will appear in court for the first time on November 28th. Blenheim Palace is the building where former Prime Minister of the United Kingdom Winston Churchill was born. It now serves as a museum. At the time of the theft, an exhibition about the work of the provocative artist Catalan had just opened. The golden toilet was a part of an exhibition and was connected to the sewage system. Visitors were actually allowed to use it. The work was intended to be as a satire on excessive wealth and consists of more than 1,000 kilos of gold with a value of more than 3 million euros. At the Guggenheim, the toilet was guarded by a security guard and visitors were allowed to use it for a maximum of 3 minutes. At Blenheim Palace, there was no security guard at the door. Before the start of the exhibition, Edward Spencer Churchill, who brought the exhibition to the palace, said he did not expect it to ever be stolen. Firstly, it's connected to the sewage system. And secondly, a would-be thief has no idea who the last person who used the toilet was and what he ate, he told the Times. So no, I don't plan on having it guarded. Wait, he put that in a newspaper? I am not guarding the golden toilet. Don't worry, we're not guarding it. I repeat, there will be no guard on the toilet while you shit. Still, the thieves managed to tear the toilet loose during the night. It caused significant water damage to the palace. Yeah, because there's ways to take out a toilet that doesn't destroy the pipes, but I guess none of them hired hey, you want to get rich? You know, we're freaking the local, I can't even know what they're called. Plumber. The local plumber. Hey, you want to get rich? Help us remove this toilet. You know, that, God forbid you think on your heist and bring a plumber to a toilet heist, you know? The first suspect was soon arrested, but the toilet remained missing. It has not been announced whether it has been found, but that seems unlikely. It's a golden toilet. They probably melted it down. In 2021, Police Chief Matthew Barber said in an interview with the BBC that he thought the toilet was melted down by the perpetrators. Maurizio Catalan is known for his provocative works of art. He made, among other things, a wax figure of a kneeling Adolf Hitler who looks like a child from the back. The statue was on display in the Boijmans van Beuningen Museum in 2002. That might be Dutch. Boijmans van Beuningen Museum in 2002. He also had a banana stuck to a wall with duct tape and called his work Comedian. The banana was eaten by a South Korean student in Seoul earlier this year. No disaster. The bananas were replaced every 2 to 3 days anyway. Catalan's work is currently on display in 2 places in the Netherlands. In the Boijmans van Beuningen depot, there is a doll that resembles the artist looking up through a hole in the ground. And in the Voorlinden Museum, there are 2 tiny elevators with doors that open regularly. 2 tiny elevator doors. Okay, interesting. So, yeah, this is ate banana. Somebody ate the banana. The student was hungry. The South Korean art student ate the banana from the world famous work of art, and she said, "I was hungry, so I ate the banana." It was a really short news article, but that's basically what it says. Why did they eat it? It was auctioned for $120,000. His exhibition, but okay, interesting. That's our story. That's our odd story about golden toilets and bananas taped to a wall. On to yours.
So did she later sit on the golden toilet after she ate the banana? Or was it gone already? Oh, okay. Well, hopefully it's still around. You think it's melted down, huh?
Yeah, they think it's been gone since 2019, so you haven't found a golden toilet yet. Probably been melted.
Oh. Well, make a toilet out of gold. It really has no real intrinsic value other than it just sits there. Okay, and in weird news today, or yesterday, we have a story of poison mushrooms and massive fires. This is also AP. I was lazy today. All my stories are AP. This is from Rod McGurk, AP in Canberra, Australia. Police officer, the host of a weekend family lunch at her Australian country home, was charged Thursday with murdering her ex-husband's parents and aunt with poisonous mushrooms and attempting to murder a 4th guest, police said. Police arrested Erin Patterson, 49, at her home in Victoria's state town of Leongatha, where her former husband's parents, Gail and Don Patterson, both 70, Gail Patterson's sister, Heather Wilkinson, 66, and Wilkinson's husband, Ian Wilkinson, 68, were invited for lunch on July 29th. All guests were hospitalized the next day. Only Ian Wilkinson survived. Patterson was publicly denied any wrongdoing. "I'm devastated. I love them. I can't believe that this has happened. I am so sorry," she tearfully told reporters 2 days after her third death. Patterson was also charged with 3 counts of attempted murder. Her ex-husband, Simon Patterson, 48, who became ill after eating 3 meals in 2021 and 2022, a police statement said he did not attend the July lunch. Police said the symptoms of the 4 family members who did attend the experience were consistent with poisoning from wild Amanita phalloides, known as deathcap mushrooms. The Australian Broadcasting Corp reported that Patterson wrote in a statement that she cooked beef Wellington steak dish for the lunch using mushrooms bought from a major supermarket chain and dried mushrooms from an Asian grocery store. She wrote that she also ate the meal and later had stomach pains and diarrhea. Ian Wilkinson, a Baptist pastor, was released from the hospital in late September, and police say he continues to recover. Murder in Victoria carries a potential maximum sentence of 25 years in prison. Patterson was expected to remain in police custody until she appears in local court Friday, where she can potentially apply to be released on bail. In other weird news, a massive fire yesterday destroys a World War II era blimp hangar in Southern California. This is from Associated Press. No reporter name. This is in Tustin, California, in Orange County, California. A raging fire Tuesday destroyed a massive World War II era wooden hangar that was built to house military blimps based in Southern California, and authorities said the blaze could burn for days. The Orange County Fire Authority said in a social media post that allowing the structure to collapse was the only way to fight the inferno, which was reported around 1 a.m. The cause was under investigation. The agency released video of flames racing along the curved roof, which fell apart in sections. A huge plume of dark smoke was visible 4 miles around. Due to the dynamic nature of the fire and the imminent danger of collapse, we have determined that the most operationally sound method is to allow the structure to collapse, at which point ground crew can move in closer and aggressively work to extinguish the fire. Chief Brian Fennessy said no injuries reported. The fire smoldered into the evening. The historic hangar was one of two built in 1942 for the U.S. Navy in the city of Tustin, about 35 miles southeast of Los Angeles. At the time, the U.S. Navy used the lighter-than-air ships for patrol and anti-submarine defense. According to the city, the hangars are 17 stories high, more than 1,000 feet or 305 meters long, and 300 feet or 91 meters wide, putting them among the largest wooden structures ever built. The destroyed structure was known as the North Hangar. The Navy installation became a Marine Corps air station in the 1950s and closed in 1999. Really? Tustin? Yeah, I remember that was a Marine Corps air station. Interesting. Fennessy said his agency was in contact with the Navy, which still owns the property. Hollywood Productions have used the hangars for TV shows and movies including Jag, The X-Files, and Pearl Harbor, and they also have appeared in commercials. In 1993, the site was listed by American Society of Civil Engineers as one of the historic civil engineering landmarks of the 20th century. With all that in mind, it is a sad day for the city of Tustin and all of Orange County, Fennessy said, but we are fortunate that no injuries have been reported and we are in position to extinguish the blaze without putting firefighters at risk, albeit several days. The North Hangar has been shuttered since it sustained roof damage during the October 2013 windstorm, according to the city. So there you go, historic hangar burns to the ground, and back to you.
It was abandoned for like 10 years, basically, in unuse for 10 years, and then it just burned down, because that's what happens when you just ignore stuff for 10 years. Yeah.
Yep, a giant fire hazard made of wood waiting for a bum to leave a cigarette burning.
Yeah. I mean, they for 10 years, there's a chance. Okay.
It was built in the 40s, yeah.
In culture news, let's cover our European Film Awards. That's right. Everyone talks about the Oscars, but what about European film? Which I would argue makes better films to begin with. But of course, I studied film in Europe, so I'm very biased. This is from our favorite friend, David Morcant, on Euronews Culture. The FA's honor the greatest achievements in European cinema. And this year is a particular strong one, according to David anyways. The European Film Academy has revealed the nominees for the main categories of the 36th European Film Awards, EFAs, which take place on the 9th of December in Berlin. 3 of the best European film nominees would world premiered at Cannes and won major awards: The Autonomy of a Fall, The Zone Interest, and Fallen Leaves, while the other 2 nominees premiered in Venice this year, Green Border and Mi Capitan, and also came home with trophies, Special Jury Prize and Best Actor respectively. Jonathan Glazer's harrowing Holocaust drama, The Zone of Interest, leads the nominations with 5 nods, including Best Film, Best Director. The film won both the Cannes and Grand Prix and the Fipressi Prize, and has been selected as the UK's official entry for the 2024 Oscars in Best International Feature category. It's always, it's always easy to win prizes with a Holocaust film, let's be honest, okay? If we're gonna be film critics, just a little sec here. Oh boy, I really want to win an award. Let's make a harrowing film about the Holocaust. You can't make a happy film about the Holocaust. It has to be a harrowing Holocaust drama, okay? And then at the end, you're supposed to go, God, I hope that never happens again. That's how you win awards. Loosely based on Martin Amis's 2014 novel, The Zone of Interest, in Glazier's first feature in 10 years, following 2013's Under the Skin, it follows Auschwitz camp commandant Rudolf Haas, who's played by Christian Friedel, and his wife Hedwig, played by Sandra Huller, who both built a dream life for their family in their home situated on the other side of a concentration camp wall. We observe the everyday domesticity of the family, friendly visits, servants keeping the house spotless, Hedwig tending to her Endic paradise garden, and appreciating the living space she has built next to a dying one. It is a profoundly disturbing and audacious portrait of what Hannah Arendt refers to as banality of evil. The film also nabbed nominations for Best Actress and Best Actor for Huller and Friedel. Huller will be competing against herself in the Best Actress category, having picked up a second nomination for her role in Justine Triet's Palme d'Or winning courtroom drama of Autonomy of Fall. The French director's film received the EFA noms, including Best Film, Best Director, Best Screenplay for Treat, and co-writer Arthur Harari. The other nominees for Best European Film include Matteo Garonne's refuge drama Lo Capitano, Italian, from Italy, Aki Kaurismäki's Finnish romantic drama Fallen Leaves, which won Cannes Jury Prize, and Agnieszka Holland's Green Border. Green Border is an emotionally devastating indictment of the continuing EU crisis and one of Holland's best films. Not the country, the person's name is Holland. The title referred to the forest that makes up the no man's land between Belarus and Poland. There, refugees from the Middle East and Africa desperately try to reach the European Union and find themselves trapped in an absurd to and fro overseen by both the Belarusian and Polish governments. Refugees are lured to the border with the promise of safe passage to the EU. The reality is that they are political pawns in a rigged game orchestrated by the Belarusian dictator Alexander Lukashenko. They are brutally evicted between the two sides, neither of which claims any responsibility and continues to condemn them to a horrifically finite in limbo. The film came under fire from Poland's previous far-right government, with Poland's Justice Minister Zbigniew Ziobro comparing the movie to a Nazi propaganda. There is nothing about Nazis in there though, but okay. The Best Actress race this year sees Huller competing against Fallen Leaves star Alma Poisty, Leonie Bencht, who played an educator in her Liker Katak's The Teacher, Lounge, Eka Chainlessavili in Elaine's Neveraniani's Georgian drama, Blackbird, Blackberry, and Mia McKenna's Bruce for Molly Manning's Walker's superb How to Have Sex. The Best Actor contenders also include Mads Mikkelsen, who is a great actor. He's in a lot of American films as well. For Nicola Arcel's The Promised Land, Josh O'Connor for Alice Warwacher's La Chimera, and Thomas Schubert for Christian Petzold's A Fire, and Fallen Leaves, Jussi Van Tenen. I guess Fallen Leaves had a lot of good acting in it. This year's nomination video announcement features teenage members of the European Film Academy's newly launched European Film Club, a new initiative aimed at nurturing film culture in the 12 to 19-year-old demographic. Guess I'm too old for that one. Here are all the nominees for 2023. European Film, Autonomy of the Fall, Fallen Leaves, Green Border, Mi Capitan, and The Zone of Interest. Sorry?
Isn't that word anatomy? You keep saying autonomy for the fall. It's anatomy.
Anatomy of Fall of the Fall. There we go. European documentary. Apollonia. Four Daughters, Motherland, On the Adamant, and Smoke Sauna Sisterhood. I love that. Smoke Sauna Sisterhood. European director. Justine Treat for Anatomy of a Fall. Aki Kaurismäki for Fallen Leaves. Agnieszka Holland for Green Border, Matteo Garone for Mi Capitan, and Jonathan Glazer for The Zone of Interest. European actress Sandra Hüller, Eka Chalisville, Alma Poisti, Mia McKenna, Leon Benesch, and Sandra Hüller. European actor Thomas Schubert, Jussi Von Tonen, Josh O'Connor, Mads Mikkelsen, and Christian Friedel. European screenwriter is going to Justin Treat and Arthur Harari for Anatomy of the Fall, Aki Kaurismäki for Fallen Leaves, Maciej Pieczuk, Gabriel Lazarkiewicz, Paciesko, and Agnieszka Holland for Green Border. That's a lot of people who wrote that one. Iker Katak and Johannes Duker for The Teacher's Lounge, and Jonathan Glazer for The Zone of Interest. For European Discovery, I guess that means like documentaries on nature and stuff, or I'm not exactly sure what European Discovery is. Maybe independent films, new people to the place. To 20,000 Species of Bees, How to Have Sex, La Policiada, Safe Place, The Quiet Migration, and Vincent Must Die. European animated feature films, A Greyhound of a Girl, Chicken for Linda, Robert Dreams, Amazing Maurice, and White Plastic Sky. I'm not sure if that's a typo or it's supposed to be I don't know. It's probably The Amazing Maurice. European short film 27. Aquaronte. Daydreaming so vividly about our Spanish holidays. Flores del Otorda Patio. Hardly Working. Those are all the nominations of the 4,600 members of the European Film Academy who will be voting to actually see who wins. And they will be announced yet again in Berlin on December 9th. So if you're interested in European film or want to get interested in it, check out those films and let's see who wins, I guess, on December 9th. I'll have to remember to report on that. December 9th.
You're gonna put it on TV.
All right, this day in history.
Have a TV show.
I think they'll probably have it on TV,
right?
Yeah.
It'd be kind of silly to have a award show. Well, I'm not going to show it to anybody.
No, just put it on YouTube, you know. Just put a YouTube video out. Here are the winners. All right, go home.
YouTube doesn't have a lot of live stuff. No. Not award show. Okay, in this day in history. In 1556, English astronomer, mathematician Edmund Halley, the first to calculate the orbit of Halley's Comet, was born in Greenwich, Kent, England. So what a coincidence. A comet is named after him and he discovered it. Hell of a coincidence. 1837, one of the first institutions of higher education for women in the United States. Mount Holyoke Female Seminary, now Mount Holyoke College, opened in Massachusetts. In 1884, Swiss physicist Hermann Rorschach, who devised the ink blot test that bears his name, is widely used clinically for diagnosing psychopathology, was born. So, happy birthday to the Rorschach. 1900, Margaret Mitchell, author of Gone with the Wind, was born in Atlanta, Georgia. 1923, Adolf Hitler and Erich Ludendorff attempted to start the insurrection in Germany against the Weimar Republic, but the Beer Hall Push, as it became known, was suppressed the following day. 1932, during the Great Depression, Democrat Franklin Delano Roosevelt easily defeated Republican Herbert Hoover to win the presidency of the United States. 1956, comet Erin Roland was discovered. It was remarkable for its anomalous second tail, which projected toward rather than away from the sun. In 1960, Democratic politician John F. Kennedy was narrowly elected President of the United States. In 1962, the epic film Mutiny on the Bounty, which recounts the 1789 mutiny on the HMS Bounty, was released in American theaters. It was perhaps the best known for its production difficulties, many of which centered on Marlon Brando. 1966, U.S. President Lyndon B. Johnson signed a tax bill that included a rider allowing the National Football League to merge with the American Football League, thus preventing legal challenges involving antitrust issues. In 1972, the American cable television company HBO officially debuted as it aired the 1971 film Sometimes a Great Nation, which starred Paul Newman. So happy birthday to HBO. 1978, American illustrator Norman Rockwell, best known for his covers of the Saturday Evening Post, died. In 1994, the U.S. House of midterm elections, the Republicans won control of the House of Representatives and the Senate for the first time in 40 years. In 2016, Trump was elected. 2020, Canadian-born American television personality Alex Trebek, who is best known as the host of the TV game show Jeopardy, died at the age of 80. Rest in peace, Alex Trebek. What is a sad day? On this day, our featured event in 2013, Philippines struck by Super Typhoon Haiyan. This day, 2013, the Philippines endured what many consider its worst natural disaster when the country was struck by Super Typhoon Haiyan, one of the most powerful cyclones ever recorded to strike land. And our feature biography is John Milton, who was born in December 9th, 1608, but he died on this day in 1674 in Chalfont, St. Giles, England. John Milton, English poet. Other birthdays: Dorothy Day, American journalist, born in 1897. 1900, we did Margaret Mitchell. Bonnie Raitt, born in 1949, so she turns 74 today. Kazuo Ishiguro, Japanese-British author, was born this day in 1954. And Gordon Ramsay, that British guy that likes to yell at people. Scottish chef and restaurateur, born this day in 1966. Also, it's National Day calendar? What is it today? Besides National Cappuccino Day, it is National Harvey Wallbanger Day. So that is a really nasty drink. I'm sorry. Harvey Wallbanger. National Parents as Teachers Day. What's in it?
What's in it? Yeah.
We'll look that up in a minute. Look it up in a minute. It's National STEM Day. STEM is your science, technology. What does E stand for? Something.
Engineering, math. Yeah.
And what is A? What's STEAM then?
I have maybe architecture.
I was thinking artichokes.
That obviously belongs there with science and math.
Well, you got to take a break somewhere in the middle and have an artichoke. Word Urbanism Day. It's World Radiograph Day, and those are it. So get an X-ray, and usually the X-ray technician is a STEM graduate, right?
Yeah.
And World Urbanism Day, you're going to have that X-ray in a city, probably. And National Parents as Teachers Day. Well, who doesn't have a parent? And Harvey Wallbanger. We got to figure out what that is. And you already had your cappuccino.
You said it wasn't good, but you don't know what's in it.
Yeah, okay, it's 3 parts vodka, which makes it nasty in my opinion, and orange juice. So it's basically a screwdriver with 1 part Giuliano, which I don't even know what that is.
I think it sounds like an Italian. What do you call this?
Liqueur? Yeah.
Liqueur, yeah.
Sweet liqueur or something. I have no idea. Either way, once you put vodka in something, you should just pour it on my head because I ain't gonna drink it.
This man is not a fan of hard liquor. He does not like hard liquor. Don't even mention hard liquor in his presence.
I can drink rum. I can drink anything else. I can't stand vodka.
I didn't like vodka either when I had it for when I turned 21. I didn't like it either. Okay.
No flavor whatsoever. It tastes like rubbing alcohol. Sorry. Anyway, your story.
This has been
I'm
Allison
I'm
here from the
anti-vodka.
Netherlands. Planning on, I guess, watching a bunch of European films because today's my day off, and I will be doing some yoga later because I've been skipping yoga. Like for the last 3 weeks, I've been skipping on Wednesdays, but I'm doing it today. And we will see you tomorrow on Thursday for whatever the hell's been happening this week that wasn't wacky and wasn't good.
To the Roger in the United States, where the Democrats win again, and vodka is still nasty. So that's today's stories on Before Coffee for November 8th, 2023 edition of Before Coffee. Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons. And follow our other channels, Toxic Alley, History of Gravy, and Scratchy Old Records.